Testing 1, 2, 3. All right, so welcome to the first ever Momcast. We have Dad watching the kids right now, which means I actually have a few seconds to podcast on my own, which is something new and kind of scary. Usually I have Dad to play off of and have somebody to help fill in my awkward silences, so let's just hope there aren't any. I have a little bit of news that I thought was kind of interesting. I thought it was worth talking about. And first off, in the news today that I saw was Monsters, Inc. TV show. And this kind of caught my eye because as a kid that grew up in the late 90s and early 2000s, I'm very used to having Disney movies be made into TV shows. Like, I really loved the cartoon of Lion King and The Emperor's New School, and there was a Little Mermaid cartoon. So I'm very used to having stuff like that, and I really, really enjoyed them as a kid. And now Disney's new streaming service, which is Disney Plus Slate, has announced that they're going to do, not only are you going to get Disney's whole entire vault of classic movies and the movies that are coming out, they're also going to start doing original shows. And this Monsters, Inc. one is one that they have announced they're doing. And also has Billy Crystal and John Goodman coming back to reprise their roles, which I thought was also awesome. From what I understand, they're not going to be the main characters. They're going to have this new character come in who is kind of like the funny guy that is like big fans of them and plays off of them. But just the fact that they got, Mike and Sully to come back and do the voiceovers again is really, really cool. And I think that this streaming service is really going to give Netflix a run for its money. And that's also what I read when I was researching this story, was that a lot of people agree with that because Netflix keeps raising their prices, and I love Netflix. I love a lot of Netflix originals, and that's really the only thing that keeps me coming back to Netflix, because once a movie comes on Netflix, an older movie like Pulp Fiction or Roadhouse or, something like along those lines that I would really want to watch again that I don't personally own, it's usually also on Hulu. It's usually also on Amazon Prime. So it's the Netflix originals that really are what I pay for. It used to be Orange is the New Black, and now there's Santa Clarita Diet. And so with Disney taking their movies away, taking Marvel, taking Star Wars, taking just the original Disney movies that they come out with, and now also saying, we're going to give you original content, and we have the money to get back original voice actors, depending on how much it costs, and if, we have to budget one versus the other, this could be something cool, especially if you have kids like we do who love cartoons and love Disney movies, and I love Disney movies. So this seems like something that could be really, really cool. I haven't heard much about when the streaming service goes live. I heard that Thursday they're supposed to be in talks with when they're going to reveal the date of which everything happens. So we'll stay tuned for that and see whenever it's going to come out. But I'm really excited, and I'm really excited that Monsters, Inc. could get more of a spinoff than Monsters University, and maybe someday we'll see what happened with Boo, because this is supposed to take place, I'm pointing at my notes because it's actually written down. This is supposed to take place 6 months after the first movie. So I'm assuming it's 6 months after the last scene that we saw, which was, I want to say, a year after Sully left Boo. So you're looking at about a year and a half since we last really saw Boo. I mean, Sully goes back through the door, but we didn't see anything. We don't know what she's like now. We don't know how much time has passed in the human world or anything like that. So really excited to see what they do with that. I know Pixar is not going to have its hands in this. It's just going to be Disney and another company doing like the animation and stuff. So it's not going to be Disney and Pixar on this new venture that Disney is doing. The second bit of news that I have is about Shazam, which I still have not seen. It looks hilarious. I really, really want to see it. It's just trying to find the time with 2 kids who are ages 2 and under. It's very hard to find time to go to the movies. I will be finding that time to go see Endgame. But Shazam looks really, really cool. Not a character I know a lot about, but a character that seems really fun and seems like it's a good time at the movies. It earned $160 million opening weekend, so they have greenlit Shazam 2, which I thought was very interesting, seeing as how it just came out. It's still in theaters. It's still something that people are talking about, but because it's making such good money, because it seems to be really well received, they've greenlit Shazam 2. And they are bringing back the same writer, director, and producer, I think, is what I read. I know the same writer and director as the first one. But because he has other projects in the works, they have not obviously released a date yet. But like I said, the first one's still in theaters, so they're not going to release a date just yet. But I would say probably 2 to 4 years we'll have another one. But this brought up a good point for me, because this is proof that DC can still make good movies. DC has gotten a lot of crap over the last few years because of Suicide Squad and Justice League and things like that. But this is proof that DC does know what they're doing with properties that they own, with characters that they have. Aquaman, Wonder Woman, the Superman movies by themselves, Batman movies by themselves. Those all always bring in really good money and are usually pretty well received. So this is just showing that DC needs to stick with solo films. That's what I want. I personally really liked Suicide Squad. I wish that I had seen the version of Suicide Squad that was promised and that was originally shot. I doubt we will ever see that version of the film, but I enjoyed it. I enjoy it up until the last act with Enchantress, and after the bar scene, I turn it off now. I've had my fill. I've seen what I want to see. I've seen the good jokes. I've seen the good action. That last scene, that last act just doesn't do it for me anymore. But I also enjoyed Justice League. I didn't mind it. I didn't think it was their best work, but I also didn't think it was so bad as everybody thought it was. I really liked seeing like Green Lantern and just characters in that big fight scene when they're telling the backstory of, all of that. It gives me hope for a good Green Lantern movie, because Green Lantern is my favorite DC character. And while I really love Ryan Reynolds, we can all admit that Green Lantern movie was not the greatest in the world. So this gives me hope. I really hope that they just start sticking with what they know, and that is really, really good solo films. Wonder Woman was fantastic. I still haven't seen Aquaman, but he was one of the best parts of Justice League. Very funny, and that's not just me jumping on that whole like Jason Momoa is the hottest thing ever, because I'm not on that bandwagon. I just genuinely thought that he was a really good actor and that he really brought the fun and just the funniness to the film. So yeah. Third bit of news that I have is I thought I had Star Wars news. I had Star Wars gaming news. I don't know about you, but Star Wars games have never done anything for me. I never played Battlefront, never played Battlefront 2, never got into that. So I started looking at stuff that is more closer to the things that I like, and I found some Overwatch news. They're having a new event, and it's called Overwatch Storm Rising. They released a teaser trailer for it yesterday, which today is April 9th. So on the 8th, they released a little bit of a teaser trailer, which I did see, didn't know exactly what it was, kind of just briefly clicked on it and then clicked off, because I'm somebody that used to play a lot of Overwatch. It used to be my main jam every day, few hours a day. And now it's kind of gotten, and I think a lot of people are there, where it's boring. I love the Halloween events. I love Junkenstein's Revenge. I'm a Junkrat main, so anything that has to do with Junkrat. But the new character, I just recently played him, Batiste. It wasn't the worst, but he's nothing super special. And the amount of time we get in between new characters is ridiculous at this point. So when I read that they were coming out with a new event, maybe this is something to help get people back into Overwatch. As I was reading it, the event starts on April 16th and will go to May 6th. The event is like Junkenstein's Revenge, all of that, where you have a set of characters. From what I'm understanding, you have a set of characters. This set has Tracer as the leading character with support from Mercy, Winston, and Genji. I am neither a Winston, Mercy, Genji, Tracer main in the least bit. I know Tracer is a very popular character, and I can play Tracer, but it's not one that I don't gravitate towards her very much. So I feel like this is kind of Overwatch's way of getting people to play less played characters. I know there are a lot of people that, are Genji mains, or, have those characters are their main character that they play. But I also know a lot of people that have no idea how any of those characters work. So I kind of feel like maybe this is their way of being like, this is how we get people to play those characters. If we do a main event that's, going to span and give special loot boxes and give special skins and give special whatevers, you can only play as these guys. So this will force people to play these characters and maybe get people to want to play these characters. At the same time, is that a good marketing strategy whenever you haven't really released a whole lot of content for a while and you've lost a lot of popularity from the game? A lot of the people that I used to play with on our Xbox friends list have switched to Apex Legends. I've tried Apex. It's not something for me. Honestly, Overwatch was not something that would normally be in my wheelhouse to play, but it's just something I picked up and really started to enjoy. I don't know if a new event is enough to bring the now Fortnite and Apex people back to Overwatch. So that's just kind of some food for thought. Do you still play Overwatch? And are any of the new characters that are in this new event, are they your mains, or are they people that you don't usually play as? Because I don't know how well I'm going to do at this new event if I choose to play it, just because of the people that they have me listed. They have Tracer, Mercy, Winston, and Genji. So they have 4, and usually I feel like a lot of the time it's like a 6-player thing, because a normal round has 6 players. So I don't know if they're going to just add 2 more characters, or if they're going to double up and you can have like more than one Tracer or more than one Winston. I don't know what they're going to do with that. So like I said, it's going to be a short podcast. I just had 3 bits of news. Just wanted to jump on here and kind of talk about it. When I find out some more about the Disney streaming site, I will let you know if they announce a date anytime soon of when you can start your streaming service, how much it's going to be. We'll try to let you know as soon as we know. Shazam 2, it's going to be a while. Obviously, the first one's still in theaters. The first one's still doing very well. Just interesting that they went ahead and greenlit it, with it still being in theaters. It does have a good score, so I understand why they did it. And with Overwatch, like I said, who do you play as? Is this something that interests you, or have you just, cut ties with Overwatch, you've switched to Apex, you've switched to PUBG, you've switched to Fortnite. I mean, there's a lot of different, games the same sort of way where it's multiplayer. Have you just made the switch? Because in our house, we really don't play it that much anymore. But yeah, that's all I've got for you this evening. I hope it wasn't too boring, and I hope I didn't have too many awkward pauses. I'm sure Dad will put in some funny captions whenever he edits this for me. And if I sound like an idiot, I'm sure he will point it out for everybody to see. So that's all the time we've got this evening. I think I hear my kids crying, so I'm going to go relieve Dad of his solo dad duties, and we will talk to you next time. So bye, guys.